What's up, guys? Was everybody wrong and their mother wrong about Brian Michael Bendis being on Superman? Maybe. So I just read Man of Steel #3. Another solid hit from Brian Michael Bendis. What in the world? So here's the story. Tomasi and Gleason were amazing on Superman. I didn't read a lot of Action Comics. It was hit or miss to me. But Superman was really good almost every issue. There was a couple times when Tomasi was out. They had somebody else writing, and it was okay. But when Tomasi was on there, excellent. Super Sons, excellent. And then they announced that probably the strongest Rebirth title was going to be replaced by a different writer. I was like, what are you thinking? And then to boot, they're bringing the guy from Marvel that's been SJW and writing terrible books over at Marvel. They're bringing him over. And then add on that, for like 3 months, we get double page advertisements in the DC Comics. Bendis is coming. And we're just like, please, no. Please, why? And then we hear that he's gonna redo all of Superman's origins, and like the last month of Superman is just like, the end is here. Like, what are we gonna do? And I'll say that Tomasi Gleason made a beautiful last issue. What was it, like 45 or something? And of Superman, where he's like, they're kind of passing on the torch, saying, "There's nothing we can do. Change happens. You gotta accept it. Move on. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be bad." And you just kind of hope for the best, but you still keep trucking. I was like, okay. But then it finally arrived. Man of Steel #1. And well, before that we had DC Nation #0, and it was awful. And we're just like really, all this time for nothing. And it's just like, well, here it is. But then Man of Steel #1 comes out, and our world explodes. We're just like, what? This is good. Brian Michael Bendis has written a great book. And I know this is shocking, but I feel like it's been forever since he's written a good story. And then we're like, okay, we'll see how long this lasts. Maybe this is just a one-time thing and kind of a fluke. And then Man of Steel 2 comes out, and we're like, this is also really awesome. Brian Michael Bendis, what's going on? And then we're like, okay, but still, maybe it'll come where the third one, it'll be bad, and we'll be like, okay, well, there's the Bendis we know. And then 3 comes out, and it's just as good. Oh man, I don't know what to think. Like, it's been excellent. I love the Man of Steel. It's the one series that I was dreading throughout all of the changes that have been happening, because I've been loving the Superman, and I'm still cautious because I really love the stuff that happened with Tomasi and Gleason, and I love like the Lois, and like what, I've never been a huge Superman fan. I've always liked the people who are based off of him, like Supergirl and Captain Marvel. I liked, or Shazam, however you want to call them. I've always liked how they were basically Superman but different, and they were living in a world where there was a Superman. And I like Superboy, obviously. I like how they were living in a world where there was a Superman, and they had to be their own character. And I felt like Superman really hadn't had like that many great stories in a long time, because it's difficult to write for Superman if you don't know what you're doing. But then I saw Lois and Clark Superman. I was like, that looks interesting. So picked it up right before Rebirth, and I loved it. I loved the relationship with Lois and Clark, and the fact that they had a kid, and Thought that was really interesting and compelling. A new direction for the character. I guess they might probably have done it in the past, but I haven't read any of those stories. And so I read that, and it's the traditional Superman. He was kind of living in a world where there was already a Superman. Thought that was really interesting, which made it made me like that Superman. He was wearing the black costume with the shaggy beard. It was great. Uh, and then went right into Rebirth, and he became the main Superman. I was like, this is awesome. But I haven't really cared for a lot of Bendis' writings. I like the Jessica Jones TV show, and I like the Jessica Jones Luke Cage relationship. I thought that was cool. I love Miles Morales, so I know that Bendis can write. Although I really haven't technically read his Miles Morales. I guess I did read the Spider-Man Miles Morales for a little while, and then I had to choose money-wise, and honestly, like, I hated to drop that title, but just didn't have the money. And Marvel was just a lot of their stories weren't that great, so I went mainly DC. And so I really haven't had that many great stories by Bendis. But I've heard, I like some of the characters that he's created, some of them. But anyways, but Man of Steel 3 is another excellent story. I don't know what's going on, but he is killing it. So I'm still a little worried that he's going to get rid of Lois and John, or ruin the relationship that's been amazing in Superman Rebirth. But if he keeps going like this, Bendis is going to be one of my favorite authors. I'm shocked to say that, but I'm really loving this. I think this new character, even though I don't know anything about him, I love that he's kind of shrouded in mystery. He's just running around doing his own thing, like blowing stuff up and whatever. I think that's really cool. So I'm gonna get into the issue itself. I was a little disappointed that he destroyed the city of Cantor, and so that's just what it is, or Candor. I was a little disappointed with that. So we have, like, right there, you see it in ruins. I was a little disappointed. I was like, man, that's like huge Superman thing here. But maybe he's gonna develop it a little bit later, so that would be cool. It was really a blow. I thought so. Very compelling. And I love the stuff with Supergirl in this. She is awesome. So she shows up, and you see kind of like a big splash page. Well, I don't know if I want to show the final splash page, but you see, because you want to read this book. She shows up a number of times, and like her and Kal-El's relationship is great, and I love that. And so, one thing that I really liked. Okay, so at first, like, this is just my thoughts. Maybe you had different thoughts when the fire police shows up, and you're like, oh, she's a lady. I don't really care what gender the person is, but my first, like, when you're dealing with SJW writers, it's almost always a minority character. So you're just like, okay, so here we go. But she's been really good. She's actually written like a character, which I love. She's interesting. I love her interactions with Superman. In this issue, Batman, which is hilarious. And I love that Batman has because I'm Batman quote in here. Let me see if I can find it. But that was hilarious. I will say, or he just says, I'm Batman. And that's just explains everything. So Superman shows up in the another building that's been set on fire, and she shines a light on him and is scared because she surprised him, and then she turns around and Batman is there too, and he scares her, and Soup's like, okay, I scared her by accident. You did that on purpose. And he's like, I'm Batman. One thing I thought of the last couple issues, I was like, wait a minute, like, you have this amazing detective as your best friend, and you're worried about all these arsons? why don't you get him to come help? And then what happens? He brings Superman in. I was like, there you go. This makes perfect sense. Like, Superman should just, fly over and get Batman's help. And I imagine Batman, if he could ever get over his pride, he'd probably ask for help with Superman too, for certain things. But usually it would only be if he felt like he couldn't do it for some reason. I don't know what it would be, but Batman doesn't usually like ask for help. But Superman, he doesn't mind asking for help because he's much more humble and he recognizes other people's strengths. Has his own strengths. So he's like, okay, well, one of my strengths is that my best friend is Batman. So I just bring Bruce over here and have him figure out this arson case for me, things that I'll miss. But he tries it himself, and then when he realizes that he needs help, he goes and gets help. Batman never gets help. He has people who realize his weaknesses for him and come and help anyways without his permission. And yeah, anyway, so I was like, why don't you just bring Batman in this? And he did. So props to Bendis for recognizing a great crossover there. But it's really good. I've really enjoyed the story. I'm still worried about what's going to happen with Lois and John, but it's been really great so far. The writing's spectacular. The artwork is great. I have zero complaints, I think, about this Man of Steel series so far. So looking for if this is the writing style that we're going to get, I'm looking forward to Superman and Action Comics when it gets rebooted. So that'll be awesome. I can't wait. So yeah, let me know what you think. Have you enjoyed Bendis's storyline? Have you enjoyed the Man of Steel first 3 issues? Have you enjoyed Bendis in general? And because I know some people enjoy his writing more than others. But let me know what you think. I'm pretty excited, and I'm still a little cautious because I'm really worried about what's going to happen to Lois and John. But as far as the writing goes, it's been excellent. So I guess even if he did something like that, which I would be devastated, but I might keep reading it just to see because it's been really good writing. And that's all I want in my comic books is just really good writing, So honestly, like, I don't care if you throw some politics in the story as long as the story is interesting and compelling. I don't even mind reading about politics that I disagree with. I don't mind that as long as it's interesting and compelling. So keep the story good. Great job, Bendis. I mean, you're proving me wrong, and I think just about everybody. And so, if you're not reading Man of Steel, it's really good. It's very, very good writing. So don't be afraid. It's a great book. So let me know what you think. I'll be probably doing a couple other books because yesterday I read Hawkman, Plastic Man, and then I read Mr. Miracle, and then I read Man of Steel, and there was a couple others, and they were all fantastic, especially Mr. Miracle. All fantastic, and so I'm going to try to do some reviews of those. Really enjoyed those. So yeah, let me know what you think, and I will catch you next time. Peace.